Good evening, viewers. I am ALANA NADIR with Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. Beginning with news from neighboring Venezuela. Venezuelan regional and local elections last weekend were held under better conditions than those of previous contests, the head of a European Union's observation mission said on Tuesday, while declining to say whether the vote was free and fair. The Sunday vote was the first time in 4 years that the country's opposition ran candidates. However, not much changed because the opposing team suffered a resounding defeat, with the ruling party winning at least 18 out of 23 governorships. The socialist government of President Nicolas Maduro has long faced accusations of anti-democratic practices from the United States and other critics, although the presence of the EU observers were seen by some conferring as a modicum of legitimacy to the process. Now for news in Grenada. Members of Parliament in Grenada will soon be publicly debating on a bill that seeks to decriminalize the use of marijuana and for anyone over the age of 18 to have no more than 28 grams in his or her possession for personal use. Agriculture Minister Peter David is set to table the bill that will mandate lawmakers to amend the Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act at the upcoming session of Parliament. The amendment will allow the use of cannabis by Rastafarians in places of worship. It will allow individuals who have attained the age of 18 years to produce, supply, or offer to supply a small amount of cannabis. 6 amendments and 1 insertion will be made to the drug abuse legislation. The main objective of the amendments are to allow anyone over 18 to be in possession of 28 grams or 0.987671 ounces of marijuana and to allow each homeowner over the age of 18 to grow no more than 5 trees. Rastafarians will be able to use marijuana solely for religious purposes as a sacrament in adherence to the Rastafarian faith and at the place of worship. Notwithstanding the provisions of this act, the minister may by order designate any premises or place, such as a place of worship of the Rastafarian faith, for the purpose of this act. Despite the legislation for people to be in possession of marijuana, smoking in a public place will be prohibited. A person who smokes or uses cannabis or cannabis resin in a public place commits an offense and is liable to a summary conviction to a fine of EC $500. And finally, a bus carrying tourists back to North Macedonia crashed and caught fire in western Bulgaria early Tuesday, killing at least 45 people, including a dozen children, authorities said. The bus apparently ripped through a guardrail on a highway, though authorities said the cause was still under investigations. Photos taken shortly after the crash showed the vehicle engulfed in flames as plumes of thick black smoke rose from the scene. Daylight revealed a burned-out shell with all of its windows blown out. Sitting in the median, a portion of the guardrail was peeled away and lying in the road. 7 survivors were taken to the hospital after the crash, which happened as a group of buses were returning from a trip to Turkey. 12 children were confirmed among the dead, according to North Macedonia chief prosecutor. Bulgarian Interior Minister told reporters at the crash site that he had never in his life seen something more horrifying. The people who were in the bus turned into charcoal, the minister said. There were 4 buses that traveled together, and it is possible that passengers changed buses during the stops. Chief of Bulgaria's National Investigation Service confirmed that 52 people were on the bus. Among the survivors, 5 North Macedonia citizens, 1 Serb and 1 Belgian, according to the North Macedonian Foreign Ministry. And that concludes Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. I am ALANA NADIR. Thank you for joining.